think it's the true dream of every music video director to actually just be a musician. I was reading about the history of the prepackaged sandwich. They talked about Marks and Spencer creating the first prepackaged sandwich, and the CEO at the time, who was just waxing poetically about the beauty of the prepackaged sandwich and how it would provide freedom from sitting down, and finally you can have lunch on the go and get back to work. And I always thought this was such a fun and poetic idea for something that will ultimately add time to your working day and take time out of having time for yourself. If you can find something, or if I can find something genuinely stupid enough that I know nobody else would pursue, I know that's a good idea for me, because if no one else is going to do it, I might as well. Yeah, I feel obligated to be the one to have to pursue that.
There he is. That's my brother Mike. Looks like he's been waiting for us. What's up with the knife?
For Prison Cat's video for Daggers, I wanted to create something that felt like pseudo-realistic, about a guy visiting his brother, and it just mildly going off the rails, like very, very mildly going off the rails. And the whole idea for the video is, we wanted to create something like a new mild surprise every 15 seconds as you watch the video, and you start wondering if it's all real or not. I love the format of playing with reality, and it's humorous knowing the audience is still trying to figure out if what you're showing them is true. After I made the video for Tim, he reached out about a new album that they were putting out and sent over these 3 things. At the time, I had been having daily cappuccinos with my neighbor and buddy Scotty Cameron, and suggested that maybe we try to direct the video together. Scotty had made this really wonderful fan invention that I admired quite a bit, and I suggested that maybe we could try to make a handful more of those inventions together.
That's the difference. Now proceed calmly to the edge of your road. A narrow way.
The song was called These 3 Things, so the idea was to create a visual gag out of 3 objects, and that was kind of the rule for the experiment. And if possible, these mechanisms should help daily life.
You feel your shoulder tightening, so you need
What if you give it a constant little jiggle?
Needs agitation.
I think so.
Hey, we got
That's pretty good.
Alright, so we have the new design and me and Ben tried it and now it works. Great.
Ah, it works.
Works.
That's amazing.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Wow.
Ah, that's perfect.
So when do you shoot?
Oh, we already shot. When I was pitching the idea for Opposite House, I had been on a spree of losing videos to other directors, losing pitches or whatever, which is something that happens very often and every day. And when I noticed this trend that the videos I was losing to were these kind of videos of humans doing some sort of cool trick. Like a guy on a BMX bike or a horse, or maybe vaping, or I don't know, stuff that was cool to look at, but I don't know, maybe didn't have tons and tons of substance. So Opposite House was my version of that, and sort of a joke on the idea of a human doing something special. And yeah, and it got booked, so it does work. It definitely works. For Grizzly Bear's video for Neighbors, the song just sounded so gentle and nostalgic in a way, and I wanted to create a narrative that also felt like that, but maybe for a life none of us have ever really lived.
With a sense of dread.
Sometimes we can remember things being better just because they're memories, and I sort of wanted to make a video that felt like, yeah, just like memories.
This one's for my best bud. Well, you know my heartache. You know my heart breaks. You know my heart aches. You know my heart breaks.
I've always loved music, and I came from a background of playing music. But yeah, when I moved to LA, I kind of gave up most of like trying to write anything or trying to perform anywhere, and just kind of stuck with making videos. But I had an idea. I wanted to explore like a duo, singing duo, where one of them kind of does most of the work, but the other one gets all of the glory.
I'm sorry, mama, the wind in my hair can't stop me from floating.
So sort of creative ownership is an idea that I think a lot about, especially now when it's so easy to forget where you saw something and maybe start thinking, yeah, maybe I came up with that. I'm Jonny Look, and I'm a Los Angeles-based director and writer.